Hello everyone. Let us quickly shoot a one-shot video for this very beautiful story called "The Pedestrian" by Ray Bradbury. This is a one-shot. We'll complete the story in just 15 minutes. To enter out into that silence that was the city at 8 o'clock of a misty evening in November. Remember, November 8 o'clock in a misty evening. November 8 o'clock a misty evening. To put your feet upon that buckling concrete walk. Buckling means bending under pressure. To step over grassy seams. Grassy seams are like two concrete paths, and between them there is a grass patch. Right, so you skip those grass patch and try to walk on the concrete stones and make your way hands in pockets through the silences. That was what Mr. Leonard Mead most dearly loved to do. What is the name of the person? Mark it out. Leonard Mead. So what he did, he loved to do hands in pockets, through the silences, walk in at 8 o'clock in November in misty evenings. He would stand upon the corner of an intersection is this road and this road, so this point in between is an intersection. To stand at the corner of an intersection and peer down long moonlit avenues are roads of sidewalk in four directions. So there are four directions in which that person can go, but he has to decide where to go. But it really made no difference because he was alone in this world of AD 2053. Very important question. When is this story taking place? AD 2053, 2053. Or as good as alone. He was not really alone, but he was as good as alone because everyone else is trapped inside their homes. He's physically isolated, although people exist. And with the final decision made, a path selected, he would stride off, sending patterns of frosty air before him like the smoke of a cigar. You know, right? When there is foggy and you breathe air out, it just strides off like smoke of a cigar. Cigar is a cigarette. Sometimes he would walk for hours and miles and return only at midnight. And on his way, he would see the cottages and homes with their dark windows. Why dark windows? Because there is no color in their life. This is all metaphoric. And it was not unequal to walking through a graveyard where only the faintest glimmers of firefly light appeared in flickers behind the windows. So he's comparing those houses with a graveyard. Every time he describes other people living in the town, he describes them as dead people, as just graves. Their houses were like graves and they were dead people. So only glimmers of firefly light is like the light of the television that is there in their houses. Sudden grey phantoms seem to manifest upon inner room walls. Sudden grey ghosts. Phantoms are ghosts. They are dead. They are ghosts. They appear to manifest. They appear sometimes on the inner room walls if the curtain was not drawn. Right? So, or there were whispers and murmurs where a window in a tomb like building was still open. So if a window was open, then he could hear the murmurs coming out of the house. And again, he has described the house as a tomb like building. There are no individuals in individuality. There is no individuality in other people's life and in other people's thoughts. And tomb is the abode of the dead. He is describing people in the language of the dead. Mr. Leonard Mead would pause, cock his head, listen, look, and march on, his feet making no noise on the lumpy walk. For long ago, he had wisely changed to sneakers. Why did his feet make no noise? Because he had changed to sneakers. Because if he were wearing some hard heels, then the dogs in intermittent squads, in squads means in groups, dogs would come in groups and would walk along him, would parallel his journey with barkings. As far as he went, they would bark at him if he wore hard heels. So dog would bark at him. And also that lights might click on, and because of the so many dogs barking, lights might click on, like people might turn off on their lights, and some faces might appear, which means that people might come out of their houses, and an entire street be startled by the passing of a lone figure. And everyone in the street would be very startled, very surprised to see a lone figure, a lone person walking down the street in the early November evening. On this particular evening, he began his journey in a westerly direction. In the previous para, this meant that he didn't want to attract any attention. On this particular evening, he began his journey in a westerly direction, which means he's moving to the west towards the hidden sea. Hidden sea is like a distant sea that can't be seen from city and is very peaceful. It does signify something natural. There were there was a good crystal frost in the air. It cut the nose and made the lungs blaze like a Christmas tree inside. You could feel the cold light going on and off, all the branches filled with invisible snow. So the lungs are compared to a Christmas tree, and you could feel that the cold light in on the Christmas tree is going on and off, and all the branches are filled with snow. I mean, the bronchioles that are inside the lungs, which are like branches, they're filled with snow. He listened to the faint push of his soft shoes through autumn leaves with satisfaction, and whistled a cold, quiet whistle between his teeth, occasionally picking up a leaf as he passed, examining its skeletal pattern in the infrequent lamplights as he went on, smelling its rusty smell. Hello in there, he whispered to every house on every side as he moved. What's up tonight on Channel 4, Channel 7, Channel 9? Where are the cowboys rushing, and do I see the United States cavalry over the next hill to the rescue? So he's talking to himself, but he's kind of mocking the people sitting inside the houses and asking them what's up on Channel 4, 7, and 9, because these are all these people do is see the television. Where are the cowboys rushing? Cowboy films he's referring to. And do I see the United States cavalry over the next hill to the rescue? He's referring to the Addison program, which tells about the American cavalry, right? The street was silent and long and empty, with only his shadow moving like the shadow of a hawk in the mid country. If he closed his eyes and stood very still, frozen, he could imagine himself on the center of a plain, a wintry, windless Arizona desert. So he's comparing the area to the Arizona desert because it is plain, wintry, and windless. It's quite dead, with no house in 1,000 miles and only a dry river bed the street for company. What is it now? He asked the houses, noticing his wristwatch. 8:30 p.m. Time for a dozen assorted a murder mystery, a quiz, a review. A review is a light satire performance, a comedian falling off the stage. Right? So he's mocking them, and is also amused by his own question. Was that a murmur of laughter from within a moon white house? He hesitated, but went on when nothing more happened. So he heard a laughter from a moon white house. Why moon white? It is completely white, it is completely blank, there is no color in that. Right? So he went on, but nothing more happened. He stumbled over a particularly uneven section of sidewalk. The cement was vanishing under flowers and grass. In 10 years of walking by night or day for thousands of miles, he has been walking for 10 years. How many years? 10 years. He had never met another person walking, not once in all the time. He has never met another person walking. He came to the cloverleaf intersection. What is cloverleaf intersection? This is one road, this is another road. The intersection, there is one highway, there is another highway. The intersection of two highways is a cloverleaf intersection, which stood silent where two main highways crossed the road. During the day, it was a thunderous surge of cars. During the day, in those highways, there was a thunderous surge of cars. There were a lot of cars coming and going to the petrol pumps, the gas stations. Like it was a great insect rustling and a ceaseless jockeying for position. Now, what does this mean? As the scarab beetles. Scarab beetles are like a stout bodied beetles with a very bright color. So they're comparing scarab beetles to cars. He's saying scarab beetles, the cars which are ceaseless jockeying for position. They are trying to come before everyone else. They are trying to overtake people. They want to reach somewhere fast as possible. I don't know where they're going, but they're in a very good hurry. Scarab beetles. A faint incense sputtering from their exhaust. A smoke is coming out from the exhaust, skimmed homeward to the far directions. But now these highways too were like the streams in a dry season, all stone and bed and moon and radiance. He's saying these highways were like streams in a dry season. Okay, they were all stone and bed and moon radiance, right? Which mean why streams in a dry season? Because in dry season streams do not have anything. The same way highways don't have anything right now. He turned back on a side street, circling around towards his home. He was within a block of his destination when the lone car turned a corner. Quite suddenly, a flashed a fierce white cone of light upon him. He stood entranced, not unlike a night moth stunned by the illumination and then drawn towards it. He was like a night moth, right? Night moth is stunned by a illumination, because night moth is used to a night environment, a dark environment. But if a illumination is put into it, the night moth is surprised and then drawn towards it. Then the night moth wants to go towards it. So he gets a very fierce light that is flashed into his eyes. What is this light? Is from the headlight of a car. The metallic voice called to him, "Stand still, stay where you are, don't move." He halted. "Put up your hands." "But," he said, "your hands up or we'll shoot." The police, of course, but what a rare, incredible thing. In the city of 3 million, there was only one police car left. Wasn't that correct? So a police car has come, and the car has said, "Hands up or we'll shoot." The police, of course, but what a rare, incredible thing. There are in this city, there are 3 million people. Remember, there are 3 million people, but there is only one police car left, because in 2052, when election happened, the force had been cut down from 3 cars to just 1 car, because crime was ebbing. Crime was not present anymore. It is cutting short, and there was no need now for police, save for this one lone car wandering the empty streets. "Your name," said the police car in a metallic whisper. Notice how the whatever the car is saying, it is termed as metallic. It is not real. It is not human. It is not soft. It is hard. He couldn't see the men in it for the bright light in his eyes. He couldn't see who was sitting inside the car because of the light. "Leonard Mead," he said. "Speak up, Leonard Mead. Business or profession? I guess I'd call myself a writer." And when he says that, the car says, "No profession," said the police car, as if talking to itself. The light held him fixed like a museum specimen, needle thrusted through his chest. "You might say that," Mr. Mead said. "That yes, you can say that I don't have a profession," because he hadn't written in years. He has not written anything in a lot of years, because magazines and book don't sell anymore. People don't read anymore. Everything went on in the tomb-like houses at night now. Tomb-like houses are like, dead houses, right? He thought, continuing his fancy. The tombs, ill lit by television light, where the people sat like the dead, the grey or multicolored lights touching their faces but never really touching them. This is a great line. The lights of the TV are touching the people but not really touching them. It's not affecting them personally. There is no personal, there is no human thing about them. "No profession. What are you doing out?" "Walking." "Walking?" "Just walking," he simply said, but his face felt cold. "Walking, just walking." "Yes, sir." "Walking where? For what?" "Walking for air." "What? Walking to sea?" Why was he walking? He was walking for air, walking to sea. "Your address." "Learn this address. 11th South St. James Street. 11th South St. James Street. And there is air in your house? You have an air conditioner?" Mr. Mead, he says yes. "You have a viewing screen?" He says no. So he says no. There was a crackling quite that in itself was an accusation. "Are you married, Mr. Mead?" He says, "No, not married," said the police voice behind the fiery beam. The moon was high and clear among the stars, and the houses were grey and silent. "Nobody wanted me," said Leonard Mead with a smile. Now he is trying to be, sarcastic, that nobody wanted me because society has no place for me. I am a non-conformist. Don't speak unless you are spoken to. Leonard Mead waited in the cold night. "Just walking, Mr. Mead?" "Yes." "But you haven't explained for what purpose." "I explained for air and to see, just to walk." "Have you done this often?" "Every night for years." The police car sat in the center of the street with its radio throat faintly humming. "Well, Mr. Mead, is that all?" he said, asked politely. "Yes," said the voice. Here, there was a sigh, a pop. The back door of the police car sprang in. He said, "Get in." "Wait a minute, I haven't done anything." "Get in, I protest." Mr. Mead, he walked like a man suddenly drunk. As he passed the front window and he looked in, as he had expected, there was no one inside the window. A car was moving by itself. "Get in." He put his hand to the door and peered into the back seat, which was a little cell. The back seat of the car was a little cell with jails. Little cell, little black jail with bars. Little cell, little black jail with bars. It smells of riveted steel. It smelled of harsh antiseptic. It smelled too clean and hard and metallic. It smelled of riveted steel. Riveted steel is the metal plates are joined with rivets. It smelled of harsh antiseptic. It was not natural, it was antiseptic. It was too clean to be human and it was hard and metallic. Riveted steel, smell of riveted steel, hard metallic, harsh antiseptic. There was nothing soft there. Now, if only you had a wife to give you an alibi, said the iron voice. Iron voice. Alibi is criminally when you get someone out of the jail by vouching for him. But there was no wife for him to vouch for. Where are you taking me? The car hesitated, or rather gave a faint whirring sound. Whirring is a rattling sound, as if information somewhere was dropping card by punch slotted card under electric eyes. What does this mean? As if some address was being typed in, right? Someone mechanically typed in. And under electric eyes, it said, to the Psychiatric Center for Research and Regressive Tendencies. Learn this. To the Psychiatric Center for Research on Regressive Tendencies. To the Psychiatric Center, per psychiatric, PSICHIA Psychiatric Center for Research on Regressive Tendencies. He got in, the door shut. The police car lowed through the night avenues, flashing its dim lights. They passed one house on one street a moment later. One house, an entire street of the houses that were dark. But this one particular light had all of its electric lights brightly lit. There was every all of the houses were very dark, but there was this one house was brightly lit. Every window a loud yellow illumination, square and warm in the cool darkness. So the surroundings are cool, metallic, dark, but this is warm and illuminated and square. That's my house, said Leonard Mead. No one answered. The car moved down the empty riverbed streets. Empty riverbed is like rivers. There is nothing in this dry cold season. The same way, there is no life, dry and dead, and off away, leaving the empty streets with the empty sidewalks, and no sound and no motion all the rest of the chill November night. So the whole November night, there was no movement there, no one getting out at night, because they had taken Leonard to the Psychiatric Center for Research on Regressive Tendencies. Mead's identification as regressive is ironic, since technological and societal progress have in fact caused other citizens to regress. Mead is not merely punished but studied to refine methods of social control and thereby avoid future deviancy.